Hey there, welcome back to Golf Business Weekly Watch. I'm Taylor Wall. We're excited to be talking with Matt Weinberger today. He's the director of Nextgengolf. They once again teamed up with GGA Partners and released their findings from their 5th annual research study focusing on the Millennial Golf community. So to all the owners, operators, and decision makers out there, are you prepared to meet the needs for the next wave of members and customers at your course? We're going to dive into this data with Matt, plus hear what he has to say is one of the most significant items that course owners can take from this survey and apply it at their course. Enjoy. So Matt's here. Matt, thanks so much for joining us, and let's get right to it. For those who aren't familiar, how about a quick backstory of Nextgengolf, GGA, and specifically this survey?
Yeah, Taylor, first of all, appreciate you having us. So as we think about Nextgengolf, we've been part of the PGA of America now for a couple years. And through our different programming, we've been able to help support high school golfers, collegiate, non-varsity golfers, young adult golfers, and club champions across the country. And within our database, if you will, or our community of golfers, we've worked with GGA Partners for the last 5 or 6 years now to learn more about millennials, Generation Z. And our goal is to help inform our business decisions, but also help golf course owners, PGA professionals across the country.
Like you said, this is your 5th study. What jumped out at you?
Well, obviously the COVID aspect impacted some of our questions. And we've done presentations and we've done data analysis kind of on a year-over-year basis. But also I think looking at the trends of 5 years makes a difference. So what jumped out to me is that the average spend jumped up a little bit. I think it was about 28%, the average golf round spend within our community. So I think people are recognizing value when golf courses position it in the right way. People want to golf, so we're continuing to see growth. Obviously 2020 and going into 2021 now, we've continued to see a huge spike of golfers, which helps us. And I think you look at how golf courses can learn from this study specifically. I think looking at those trends that stay consistent is helpful, but also things that have changed. And we've seen some things change, especially like what are millennials and now Gen Z, as we begin to focus on them, what do they actually care about? I think is really important.
Yeah, it's interesting. So you touched on it there briefly about COVID-19 and the pandemic. Obviously that added, I'm sure, a whole new element to this survey. I saw in the survey 84% of millennials are now permitted to work from home. How has that impacted their frequency in terms of playing golf?
Well, totally agree with that. And I think with a grain of salt given to every question on the survey, I think this one's pretty straightforward. 51% said that it helped allow them to play more golf. And I can speak to that. It certainly helped me. When you have that flexibility to remove the commute time and you had less people, I think, staying in major cities, which if you look at past studies that we've done every year, the transportation aspect of living in New York City is one of the major, San Francisco, one of the major factors as to why people weren't golfing. So taking away people that were living in major cities, maybe they're going back and staying with their parents in a different place, or just the fact that they didn't have the 20 to 40-minute commute in the morning helped them find more golf time.
All right. So say I'm a golf course owner. I'm going to put you on the spot here. What portion of data would you say is most relevant for me? What should I pay most attention to going forward?
It's a great question. I think it depends on who you are. So if you're an owner that is at a municipal golf course, you're going to look at this data and say, we have a foothold in millennial golf generally. We have the highest percentage of play by millennials and Gen Z at municipal golf courses. So how do we learn from who our current customers are? And you'll probably hear me hark on this a little bit, but just like surveying. Ask the people at your golf course what they actually like. Instead of just generalizing data and assuming everyone's the same, ask your people that are playing your golf course through surveys, through emails, anything else. But if you're a golf course owner at a private course, taking away the desires of millennials and Gen Z that want to join private golf courses, taking an approach where it's not just the standard, hey, you get a discount if you're under this age. Having the price split over several years has proven to be pretty good. Paying less up front has been pretty good. So we have some really cool data over the last 5-6 years. We've always asked that. What is your threshold to join a private course? And what are some ways that would help you take that first leap? Because I think most golf course owners would say, once I get them in the door, then that's my job to keep them retained. So that if we can get that first step, that makes a big difference.
Right. And I noticed there was kind of a social aspect to some of the results.
Yeah, I think you look at some other publications that might be generalizing, which I try to really stay away from, is you'd think that like dress code would be such a big aspect as to whether millennials or Gen Z would want to take part in playing somewhere. And it almost annually is towards the end of the list. Another one is like finding the right balance of allowing music on the course. That's a good one. And we're seeing more and more people like request nighttime activities, something that people can do with the family. Indoor activities, simulators. I think those pricing options for golf course owners have become more accessible at beyond just your top end courses, and finding ways to engage with consumers if you're in a cold environment, to have them participate in simulators or other contests inside during the winter months. Like that's a great move for you. So I would say it depends on where you are in the golf course industry and where you are located geographically.
Great. So any parting shots for, operators, owners, decision makers that are watching this? Anything you would recommend they should implement, almost as soon as possible based on some of the trends you're noticing?
Yeah, first thing, ask your consumers. The people that are already there, learn from them. Do some searching within your Google listing for your golf course. What are people saying about your course? I think that helps you short term. Know what the actual customers are saying, and then look at our data. So GGA Partners just did a big research study on COVID aspects specifically. So short term, how can you make quick pivots to assist your golf facility? And then for us, look at Gen Z and look at millennials as an opportunity, not as a burden. There are golfers that want to play with you. So if you look at which things matter to them through this research and get them excited, I think you'll be able to create a lifetime customer.
All right, Matt. So how can golf course owners, operators connect with Next Gen Golf? What's the benefit there?
Absolutely. We work with golf course owners. We work with PGA professionals across the country. We host over 250 events across the country throughout each year. So people can reach out to me. I know you're going to have my email address in the description, but we host events from municipal golf courses all the way up to hosting at Whistling Straits for the Ryder Cup this year. So we host all different types of venues for our events. We want to make sure we continue to retain golfers and grow new golfers and help them find the facilities that best match and bring more revenue to those facilities.
Absolutely. Great stuff, Matt. Well, again, thanks so much for joining us. It's Matt Weinberger, Director of Operations for Next Gen Golf. Folks, check out the Golf Millennial Industry Survey. It's going to be in the description here. You can download it for free. Matt, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, Taylor. Appreciate your time.